Mitra, let's talk about self-guilt and this whole topic of giving yourself a hard time. We were talking just before this about the two aspects of self. In Hebrew, there's Atzmi, which is the true self, and the Ani, which is the I, the personality, the ego self. This is the Kabbalistic um, definition of them. And it's interesting to see how they tie to this whole concept of self guilt. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this. Please share.
Yeah. When people say I'm hard on myself, and this is a statement I usually hear, I'm very hard on myself. First of all, it's a fashionable thing to say, so we have normalized it. So, oh, yeah, don't be hard on yourself. That's not, it actually is quite a deep issue because exactly the words that you used, that means that my relationship with myself in that moment comes from a source that is not the higher self or as you called it, Atzmi. So it's not coming from the higher perspective of me. It's coming from the little I, if you like, if you translate it into English, there's the capital I, there's the little I with a dot on top. So, and we normalize it and it's like, it's a cute thing we all do. Isn't that interesting? And it somehow, believe it or not, became a little bit fashionable in the last few decades that you're too young to remember this. We didn't do this when I was younger. I didn't hear people talking like this about themselves that often, but it became somehow common that I'm okay to put myself down. In fact, sometimes I would like to put you down, but I can't. So I put myself down instead. That's the most available person to me. So we became really harsh on ourselves since political correctness. Other people used to do it to us, and now we do it to ourselves. And boy, oh boy, are we sometimes brutal. But you're right. When I am doing that, even when I'm making major mistakes, and I do make mistakes and sometimes major ones, the question is which I is looking at me, which why I is needed to work with me. And by default, because we live in a survival mode, in my view, most of the time, the little I comes and the little I has learned to go at me and tell me how horrible I am, how I have not learned and how bad I am and how I shouldn't have and couldn't have. And all of those like words, I call it shoulding and it's not very pleasant, comes to the front. But if I ever ask, how would my higher self, how would the capital I, how would my, uh, you know, bigger, the one that is connected to the source, would look at this differently, that would give me a completely different, sometimes 180 degrees different perspective and view of how I need to speak to myself and interact to myself. So
Yeah.
that's my observation. Tell me about yours.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's also understanding. So we have the smaller self, the smaller I, and then we have the big I. And the smaller I, which I also refer to as the ego, it does what it does. It does what it was designed to do. The ego, which is the survival part of us, it was designed to compare and contrast for survival reasons, to get angry and jealous and guilty and all of these things, which are not attributes of our true self, of the big I. And in my personal experience, I notice sometimes my smaller self will experience jealousy, for example.
Mhm.
And there is a tendency for that same smaller self to react to that and be like, I shouldn't be feeling jealous. How can I, I know better than that. Everything that I know about what an illusion this is and whatever, and I feel jealous. And I catch myself and I say that's the smaller self reacting to the smaller self. And really, I take a step back and I realize, no, the ego is doing what it does. That's what it does. It gets it, it's not me. And I give permission for that emotion, for that experience of jealousy in this example to be there. And while it's there, it opens me up to curiosity. When I'm not judging it and labeling it as bad, I shouldn't be thinking that way. It opens it up to curiosity, and I'm curious that about it. What is it telling me? Why is it there? Is there a message for me in this? And it becomes a much more gentle and playful process. And I laugh at myself. I laugh at the fact that the jealousy is there as opposed to chastising myself for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great example. Let's unfold it actually on that topic. Let's say I've come to meet you and I'm feeling jealousy. First of all, that awareness is there. I feel the jealousy in my veins and in myself. So now let's look at it from both perspectives. The little I needs to either demonize you or victimize me. Either, oh, you're a bad person and that's why you're outwardly successful and that's why this and that happened. Or you're not really kind if you have this, but at least you're not kind. So I'm finding faults to justify that it's not a problem that you have this and I'm jealous about it. Or I victimize myself, the poor me. How come I don't have it? What am I missing? Why? And there's a saying in Farsi, they say, like, when they were distributing luck, where was I? When they were distributing love, where was I? Like that's I remember, old people using those statements, like, where was I when they were distributing like the money or the good luck or the love or like beauty, and where was I? So I go to victimhood. But let's see what are my other options if my capital I is available, if my Atzmi, as you called it, is available. And it says, oh, that's interesting, Mitra. Exactly what you said. Curiosity is born. And then that curiosity, I wonder, you start wondering instead of worrying about what is going on. I wonder what that tells me. Oh, what is it? What is the subject? So the person that I'm jealous of becomes, with all due respect, irrelevant. What is the subject that I am jealous about? Right? Now I'm curious about that. And that curiosity actually brings me clarity. It is this that I see that you have, or I assume you have. And it is this that I'm desiring or wanting or intending to sort of make it my experience. So that clarity is quite satisfying. Oh, that's interesting. I'm really interested in feeling this way or having that. It allows me, or at the very least, it will allow me to see myself, that that's the area that needs attention. And by that, I don't mean it's a problem. I don't need to solve my jealousy. I just need to benefit from it and see how it's playing in my life. And every time is different. Feeling jealous yesterday may feel completely different feeling jealous today about you. So
Yes, that's a really good point too,
yeah, they all have
because we
different
shift.
information.
The same
Exactly.
situation might make us feel jealous today, uh,
Exactly.
but didn't the other day, because I was
Exactly.
in a different state of mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
A different subject and
yeah.
different thing was of importance to me. I may feel jealous about something very spiritual. It's so interesting. I may feel jealous about the teacher that is teaching, and its essence is interesting, but its delivery is quite, fear based, and that's fine. That just tells me how I have one foot, as they say, in heavens and one foot on earth, and that's okay too. There's no problem. I contain multitude, and I'm really, really happy about that, as
Yeah.
long as I can see it. So the little I said, you're bad, or I'm a victim, or a combo. I'm poor and poor me, and look what you have, and you're a horrible person. You still have it. So I went all the way to the wrong side, and the bigger me, the most connected aspect of me, see it as, oh, that's fascinating. Bring it on. Bring it on. We need to look at this. This is fascinating to me. So yeah, same thing, two completely different results.
Yeah, and I really want to highlight that because I've found myself before where I've noticed that maybe in the same situation previously I didn't experience any jealousy, and all of a sudden I'm experiencing jealousy. I'm like, what happened? What happened to me? Why am I, there's like this reason for concern. And I mean, look, it's happening because it was probably buried in the previous time and now it's at the surface this time, and it's an
Mhm.
opportunity. It's an opportunity now. It's at the surface, and that's great. It's better for it to be at the surface than somewhere hidden in the shadows, because it will always come back to get you. Or I should say, I shouldn't say it like that, but it will always come back up. It will always come back up. As you were talking, the other thing that came to my mind, and I'm totally quote unquote victim of this myself, is feeding off of the drama of giving myself a hard time, of making things bigger than they actually are. Um, and drama and the habit, it's kind of an addiction. Being hard on oneself can be kind of addictive because it keeps us uh, it's interesting. It's a form of stimulation. It is a
Yes,
form
and
of
protection.
stimulation and
And
protection.
protection. Yeah. There's nothing you can tell me that I haven't said to myself. It's really, in a deeper sense, it's also protection. It's like, I know, as soon as you say, I say, I know, believe me, I talk to myself all the time like that. So really, whether I share it with you or not, there's not much you can say that I haven't said it to myself, which is a very unhealthy way of protecting ourselves.
I have caught myself. Let's go back to the example. I've caught myself,
Mhm.
and I recognize that okay, this is not me. This is my smaller self. Expected. I'm curious. What would be your process in terms of going into curiosity
So I think
with
the
this?
first is to just become aware that this is happening, because most people, if you tell them you're jealous, they say, I'm everything except jealous. So if I tell you how many times I've heard that, Mitra, I'm everything except jealous. I say, oh, so you're not a human being? Because the rest of us feel jealousy quite often. And it's not that we won't feel it. It's like, what do you do with it? So the first step for me is to become aware that that energy we name jealousy is alive in me. And you see, I'm even describing it differently as opposed to I'm jealous. It's like, oh, that energy in me that is happening, which is an energy and it's exciting, as you called it. It's a sense of jealousy awakened in me. So, and then I become a beautiful observer, because I see this little one saying, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah," and he's bad, and you know how, and he doesn't deserve to have it, and why, how come I don't have it? And I just like laugh. It's like little kid being cute. My ego self goes there, and I'm watching it. The aware me, is watching the wonderful little I acting like a little person that I am at times. And then it's like, okay, now let's go to the wiser me, the higher me, whatever you want to call it. And that says, oh, this is fascinating too. Let's bring it on. Let's look at it. But I stay the observer of these two. And then, so that's the second thing that I pay attention to. And then the third one is, which one is informing me about how do I want to proceed? What is my next, whatever? What do I want to do with this? Which I think, if nothing else happens, nothing, if there's no other conclusion, for me, what is fascinating is the fact that I had an opportunity to observe the two aspects of me, two main aspects of me, interacting with the same common event in a completely different way. And that's very informative for me. And I'm thinking, oh, I wonder where else habitually I'm doing this. I say habitually because the little I is the one that jumps in all the time and takes charge all the time without my permission sometimes. And I'm just thinking, that's fascinating. So these are my three steps. One is awareness. Two is observation of these two, asking the first one and asking the second one. And now what do you say? And then three, what does this tell me? Even if it doesn't tell me anything, the event itself, the process told me something, that I'm seeing these two aspects in a fascinating way. I really enjoy it. It's like a movie. I see this, and sometimes I give it words and write it down. And sometimes I act it out. I go in front of the mirror and become the little eye,
Oh, that's
and I
so
go all the
interesting.
way.
That's
It's
really
so
interesting.
fast. It's a movie. And I'm just looking, and it's like there's also like there are two people watching this. There's the person who's doing it that I can see because it's the mirror. And then there's the aware me watching it. And it's like, okay, what else? Anything else? And you say, yeah. And by the way, yesterday I didn't like you. So it goes to something else. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, got you. I hear you. Good. Thank you. Thank you for
That's
sharing. That was really basic.
yeah. It's funny. I have a similar process. Not in front of the mirror. I write it out. So I have this
Okay.
dialogue, and anytime the small me is talking, I put it in quotes. That's my way of like telling myself this is small me talking, not me. So I
Uh-huh.
literally go into a dialogue with my small me. I'm like, so tell me what's going on for you. And I just I let it rip, right? It might say curse me like that piece of shit. Da, 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 I can't believe it. I'm like, okay, so what about that is bothering you?
Uh,
And then things will come out and be like, oh, so when and on the topic of jealousy, invariably what it comes down to is it has obviously nothing to do with the other person. um and I realize it's an idea that I'm holding about myself.
mhm,
I have held on to an idea about myself that that
mhm.
thing that I'm jealous about is something. What I invariably realize is it's an untapped potential of mine,
Ah,
oftentimes, right? So
hallelujah.
it's something that I know that I have access to, but I, for some reason, I tell myself that I don't, that I'm not
Yeah.
capable, that I'm not worthy, that I shouldn't. That's another one, right? That there's guilt associated with that thing. For example, it could be on the topic of, really enjoying life, going out, having fun, enjoying life. And a part of me, this is something that I have dealt with too, was I had this belief that I need to work hard. I shouldn't enjoy myself that much. I need to work hard. And so I'm holding on to this belief, which is my belief I've imposed on myself. I've learned it from outside of me, but I've imposed it on myself. And now when I see someone who's not holding on to that belief, I might experience jealousy. I might feel anger. It manifests in any number of ways. But I realize this. I realize, oh my God, really what I'm saying is that I have imposed this limiting belief on me, and I'm constraining and constricting myself in a way that isn't my true self, isn't my natural expressed self. And it's a call to look at that belief and reconsider if I want to keep holding on to it.
Fascinating. So even though we have different ways of doing it, we really, in essence, we're doing the same thing. The main point being that it's a rich experience. Don't let it go to waste by guilt driving yourself or by putting yourself down, because this is an amazing opportunity for you to get to know yourself and your deepest desires and deepest potentials, as you said, and also be entertained by the little one that
The
just jumps up and
entertainment
down.
is
And
it's
like,
real. I mean, it's another way of being entertained by it, right?
yeah,
So we're still
exactly.
getting some stimulation out of it, right? There's entertainment, but from a more removed perspective when we
Yes.
can kind of role play with this aspect of ourselves, whether it be in front of the mirror or writing it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
Working with a professional, sometimes
that
in
too. Yeah.
sessions, it's just so interesting. I become the other voice and like let the person vent, and I ask questions, and then we would just start laughing. They say, "You're so funny." I said, "Actually, I'm not funny. You're funny
Yeah.
because you're saying these things. I'm just mirroring what you're saying." And they think it's really funny when you get to see yourself. It becomes comical. It becomes not that tense and difficult to deal with, because it is funny in its essence. Like our little one, the little self, is quite funny because it hasn't grown. It's exactly like when you see a kid being like funny about things, you don't get upset with it. You don't say, child, put your act together and become an adult. You say, oh, that's so cute. They say this and they say that. And I find my little eye very cute. But Lord knows I don't want it to make decisions for me. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I don't want it to do. The cute child in me that feels all these emotions and has all these accusations and victimization and all those azations that it likes to do, is fine, can be there, and can play. I like to play with it, but I just won't let it make major decisions for me.
That's huge. Yeah. I love that paradigm of like this cute self that just doesn't know any better. It's not me. It's almost like, yeah, it's a little child, or it's a pet or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's um you don't take it seriously.
No, and you find it really entertaining. I remember once I was trying to communicate the value of money and told my daughter that that is too expensive. We do not have money to buy it. And she said, Mom, why don't you go to the bank and get money and buy it? And I thought, okay, that was cute. And it's just like that. That's what my little self says. Why don't you just like get rid of this person because they're bad and they have what they want, I want. And you say, okay, would you like me to what, harm them? And it says, okay, no. And I talk like this because it talks like that. Honestly, when I want to translate it, it just talks like that. And it's unreasonable. It's very, very sort of like childish, as it should be. And it says things that makes no sense.
It says things, and it also images. We get images, and it's okay. Like we get images of, maybe you get an image of strangling that person. That's okay. That's not you. It's your subconscious. It's the same thing. It's that same aspect of ourselves. That's what it does. That's
Yes.
what even the images. There's not only the voices, but the images that come to the mind. And sometimes it can be quite harsh, but if we can be really removed from it, really
Yes.
just understand that it's not us, it's fascinating how much is revealed to us.
Exactly.
Fascinating, because we spend so much energy trying to hold and down and repress that part of ourselves. So much energy, oh my God. And there's no need to do that. And if we can just let it be, it's amazing, how its power over us just dissolves over time, more and more and more. And it just quiets. It gets quieter and quieter and quieter, uh, until it has no juice, because we're just not giving it the juice anymore.
Yes. We're in charge, and that's the main thing to understand, that we are in charge and we can give it power, or we can just see it as an element that it's there, and sometimes there's a need for it. Right now it's not that time, and it's just cute. Yeah. Great conversation. I really liked what you brought up, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for your insights, as always, Mitra. We'd love to hear from our audience. If you have any of your personal experiences you want to share with us, or if you have any questions for us, we love to hear from you. Leave comments for us. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For a list of the links and other resources referenced in this episode, check out the podcast description.
If you're benefiting from our podcast, we'd love if you could help us reach more people by subscribing. Your support means the world to us. From our hearts to yours, we thank you.